What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Just Tap Tasting, where we taste some beers here at the Wilkie that we've just tapped. Today, episode number 65, coming at you with a new brewery. And it's from Canada. It's our first Canadian brewery. Kind of made an exception because we've heard amazing things, because usually we're only American brewed beers. And so this is North America, so we're good. We're good. It's coming out of Montreal, and the brewery is Dieu du Ciel. And it's so French. It stands that the name translates to "Good Lord." The Good Lord. It's brewing beer at this one, which makes sense, you know, because you got those monks and stuff. So always doing the Lord's work, I guess. And this is the Peche Mortel, which is mortal sin. So a pretty dark theme to this beer. Makes sense for a dark beer, though, because that's what we've got. And it's Imperial Stout. And so stylistic wise, just a little bit about Imperial, where that comes from. We get that question a lot here at the bar. What is IMP? Stands for Imperial. What is Imperial? What does that mean? What does that do to the beer? Well, Imperial beers and Imperial Stouts, the style came about because they were brewing beer for Imperial folks, we'll say, in Russia, in England. And so there's some stylistic characteristics that show up here because of that trip that it had to take. So, and those things are higher alcohol and usually more bitterness. Well, hops are a natural preservative. So, you know, when they were taking these long journeys from, you know, England to Russia, having a natural preservative in the beer was important. Stuff that is higher in alcohol, alcohol itself is a preservative. That's why when you have an Imperial Stout like this, you can age it for a long time because it's not going to go bad because it has that alcohol preservation factor. And so that's a little bit where Imperial comes from. It was a beer made for Imperial class of people. And then some stylistic characteristics. So all those things actually are going to show nicely in this beer, which is cool. We are going to go into the nose. It just smells like, I brew coffee a lot at home, daily, like a lot of you out there do. And this smells like hot, wet grounds. If you ever, either you're brewing in the machine and you throw the paper away, or you're doing something fancy, you got those grounds right in front of you. That's what I'm getting on the nose here. And that makes sense because this beer is infused with a fair trade coffee. And so it's definitely kind of dominating the aroma. Yeah, I don't really get much. If you get definitely like a roasty vibe, but I mean, that can show up from roasted coffee, you know, roasted malt. I mean, it smells like roast is going to show up on the palate. Color-wise, really intense black. You really can't see. It's like motor oil. This is a nitro beer. So you can see kind of how it coats the glass. It's got a really creamy head, and the bubbles are really tight and small. It is a nitro beer, right? And so what's different about that? What is a nitro beer? Well, it's most known for Guinness, right? That's that black tip that you see on a beer faucet. That's generally going to denote that it's a nitrogenated beer, and so it's a different kind of gas. So during the brewing process, CO2 is created, and the yeast eats the sugars. CO2 and alcohol is created. So you already have CO2 in beer as a carbonation and gas, but then once the beer is packaged, whether it goes into a bottle or a can or a keg, which is just a giant can, it is then forced carbonated. And so typically going to be forced carbonated with CO2. This one is forced carbonated with nitrogen, though. Nitrogen, the difference between those two, smaller bubbles. And so because the bubbles are smaller and everything's tighter, you get this like really creamy texture to the beer. And a lot of breweries are getting creative with this. I feel nitrogenated beers, personal preference, it's really only for darker stuff. Otherwise, you know, you get like a nitro IPA, all that nitrogen does is mute the special flavors that people appreciate about IPAs. So it takes like this really hot bitterness and then just turns the volume down, and it's boring. So I really only enjoy nitro beers that are like stouts, porters, some brown ales and things of that nature, but otherwise, keep it with the CO2. I want my carbonation, I want my flavors to be bright and refreshing, and CO2 is going to do that. Let's go in, we'll see what that texture kind of shows up like. Oh man, creamy, rich, delicious for sure, but bitter. This beer is bitter. For a Imperial Stout or Stout in general, it is really bitter, like over roasted Starbucks coffee bitter. You can tell I'm not a fan of the Bucks. even though I work there. Cool place to work. It's delicious though, 9.5%, so we definitely have that high alcohol. The bitterness is showing up, I believe, from the coffee and the fact that this style tends to have a little bit more hops in it. And it's just delicious. It's super rich. I'm a big fan. I've heard this brew pub is actually a wonderful place to visit. Recently, somebody was telling me about that, and it's probably someone who's been to a bunch of breweries, and it's one of their favorites, their top. I don't know if it's the character, the staff, the beer, maybe a collection of all those things, but it's a really cool place to visit. Montreal in general. I've never been to Canada. I'm going to try to change that in 2017, make a trip. But yeah, delicious beer, man. We don't have much of this. It's kind of one of those rare ones, but come in. It's on line number 1, which is our Nitro line here at the Wilkie, and drink this beer. Drink it now before it's gone. It's rich, delicious, and exciting. You can tell, I'm really excited. Question of the day. What was your favorite brew pub that you visited recently or a long time ago? What is this something? I remember I went to this brewery tap room in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was Lakefront Brewery, and they had just an amazing tour guide who was like a teacher who was off for the summer, as teachers are, and she worked at the brewery, and she did tours, and she kind of reminded me of my mom a little bit. Shout out to you, Mom. Thanks for watching the show. But she was hilarious, and it was awesome. And so let me know about your favorite brew pub in the comments below, and we'll see you on another episode or at the bar. Cheers, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. You're probably watching it one of two ways, either on YouTube, and if you are, thank you so much. Go ahead and click the subscribe button and look in the links below for what's on tap right now. You might be watching on Facebook. Awesome. Facebook's a wonderful place. If you could go ahead and click the share button down below, share it with your friends, and keep coming back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for new episodes of Just Tap Tasting, where we talk about all the deliciousness that we've tapped.